this very wonderful gathering here again. It's been some time since it's echo, big echo. Is it okay? You can hear my voice at the back also? Okay. It's been some time since I was last here. I think maybe it was 7 years ago or something like this. Could it be? Maybe even more. Maybe even more. Anyway, doesn't matter. I was feeling cold somehow coming back to London. And no. Also, no, better. Okay. I had to come back for a week, 2 weeks or so. And it was just, I thought it was a splendid idea that I could get a chance to meet up with some of the Sangha in UK. And here you are. So, I'm very happy that the stage is not higher, because we thought at first to come and sit here, and I prefer that type of more softness, casualness, easiness. And but it's not bad, is it? Because then I can see you at the back more easily. We have a lot of space on the stage if anybody wants to come and sit, keep my company or something. Very good. Very nice. And I would just like you to feel as relaxed as you can. I'm not going to bite. I might chop a head or something. But no, that's not going to happen. I think that actually it's I'm very, very happy, confident on your behalf also, because what I feel we can share today. We have just been offered these slots of 2 evenings of satsangs here, and I feel what I have to share with you, it will be good, even with 1 evening, if there is the openness to walk together on this exploration into the true nature of the self. So we can start, of course, I just open the floor and say if anybody wants to start talking about something, and I see how far we can go with that. But at some point, I intend to introduce, if you don't know already, what I call the invitation, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, because for quite a number of years now, I've been traveling around the world and sharing satsangs on the path of what's called like Advaita, and particularly what was called self-inquiry. And self-inquiry is a very profound and effective way of exposing the myth and illusion of the egoic identity. And since discovering that, that's what I've been trying to impart somehow over the years. Now, a little bit before that, I have to tell you that some people found it that they felt it was mental or intellectual. I found it not to be so, but I understand this because in the beginning, it felt like that for my own self. I came from very much kind of Christian background, growing up in Jamaica, and also my time in England was very much in the early years, very much walking on the Christian path. And what has changed, if anything, is only, I would say, some limitations that I found was not sitting right, nothing to do with Christ at all. What I have to say about that? So Christ or Christ consciousness is very, very much alive in my sharing. But I came to discover when I went to India, this path of self-inquiry. And so for many years, I traveled around India and around the rest of the world sharing this. And here and there, people were just sort of like coming into the recognition. But somehow it wasn't enough for me. It wasn't enough, because some years ago I had read in one of the Hindu scriptures that I trusted very much. And it said that out of millions of beings who are searching for the truth in its purest form, 1 out of millions, are finding it, or 1 out of millions are searching in that way that would make it totally accessible. And out of those rare ones, although it adds up to millions also, 1 out of millions really found it. And it really disturbed me. I could not accept it, though I could accept everything else I was reading. Something didn't sit right, because having come to that recognition, and I am not no one special at all, but by grace of God and my master, Sri Punjaji, I'd come to that recognition myself and found it is the most natural thing. Most natural. Some people found that the seeming method of self-inquiry was too complex, but that was only in the beginning. So, as I said, years passed by, and then this last year, while traveling in India, somehow it arose during one, towards the middle of the season, this exercise actually that I wanted to share with everyone, and it started to flow very gracefully. And it turned out that it became very, very, very easy for people to actually experience their pure nature without any strenuous spiritual exercises. It was very, very simple. And I was very, very delighted for that, because the whole purpose in my feelings was that if it is so natural, if it is really what we are, why should it be so difficult to discover this? You see? So I feel that was an answer, and it is an answer I feel that come from the pure consciousness, or what I call God or truth. And so from then on, I began to share what I came to call the invitation to freedom. And since that time, hundreds and hundreds of beings were waking up to that recognition. And what was the most beautiful was that it was not something that was merely a fleeting experience, meaning that we had a bit of a hit, wonderful, and it just went away. You see? So I was highly encouraged by that. I was not discouraged by self-inquiry, which for those who have been practicing the method of self-inquiry, it will continue also to be beautifully, even more effective if it is combined with the invitation. But what I have found is that there are people who had no, or they believe they have no spiritual background, or they haven't done any practice, and but nevertheless, they were coming into the same recognition. So this I'm very happy for, because some years ago, while traveling in the United States, I was asked for an interview by someone, and just as the interview was about to begin, the interviewer said to me, "Oh, one thing, please, can I ask you? During the interview, is it possible that you can talk and not use any spiritual words?" Okay, I mean, like pure consciousness and Brahman and, Jiva and all these, if we don't use these type of terms. So I felt, okay, I was excited by the challenge. And it left something inside, that there is a way of speaking. Nothing wrong with using these terms. I'm very, very happy to encourage people actually to discover the meaning behind them, because it's not that the words themselves are so complex, you see. It's just that in these days, everyone wants everything to be made very, very, very simple. So, and I'm up for that also. So since that time, I'm sure that also contributed to this, that I'm coming to share also today with you. So, as I'm speaking now, unplanned about this thing, I'm feeling if whatever questions I have heard from people over these years, I felt it is just as good to just say, listen, why don't we just plunge into the invitation? Because it will cover all of this. All of this will be covered by it. So, someone wants to go past? Yeah. Okay. So, let's say, for instance, someone said to you, if it were possible, we don't know if it is, but someone came and said, yes, it is possible that today, this evening, here now, for anyone who is open somehow, that it was possible to wake up or to come into the direct recognition or experience of what you truly are in essence. Would you be up for it? Yes. Sorry?
Yes.
At the back also, is it? Okay. Now, I can't guarantee that and of course, I can't guarantee that, okay, I am going to make you I cannot say that. I can only say that I'm very excited about it and that I feel that anyone who's open and you can follow what my guidance is, it's very short also. It's very short also. But if you follow, then I will check in with you. What is your experience at the end of this short guidance? So, let's say, to kick off, someone had come, and you can put yourself in the position of this question. Someone has come and say, I would like to wake up to the truth of myself. I've heard about these things. I don't know if it is possible. I don't know if this thing called awakening is possible. But I have heard that that you're saying that it is possible to wake up to the truth of ourself, and without going through a lot of strenuous spiritual practices. And I'm open to this because my life lived in the idea of just being an egoic identity. It's not working. I don't feel I have periods of happiness, even of peace and joy, but they all go away. Nothing really lasts. Is it possible to come to such a recognition that doesn't just fade away? And can you help me? And I say, okay. From where I am, from the room of my own being, I invite you. Okay. Come in. But before you enter, please remove your shoes. Leave your shoes outside. You say, oh, okay. Leave my shoes outside. Okay. One more thing I ask you. Can you leave your mind outside? You say, here comes the catch. How can I leave my mind outside? That is my problem, you see. I can't put it down. I said, no, don't worry. All I mean by that is that we're not going to talk about your mind. I don't want to hear. We don't need to talk about anything from the past or about the future or any idea you have about yourself so far, about who you think you are or who you would like to be in the future. So I'm going to ask you, simply don't engage with that. Is that okay with you? Just for the duration of this guidance. Fair enough? Yes, okay. So we are not going to speak about past and about the future and opinions and who you think you are. Just going to suspend this as much as we can. Just leave that aside, okay? And also, I'm not going to ask you to imagine anything. So, without getting into imagination or visualizations, I say even that I'm not going to ask you to do. I'm only going to ask you to give your complete attention just for the short time of this guidance. Are you still up for it? Yes, okay. I'm also going to ask that you can be here and don't be expecting anything. Even awakening, don't expect. Just be totally empty as much as you can. Don't engage with any thought or feelings or imagination or memory. We can do this. It's not difficult. Though they may come up, but you're not going to engage with it just for this duration of this guidance. We're good. Yes? So empty, empty, empty. And I'm not going to ask you to pick up any new concepts also. I'm not going to ask you to create. You don't have to create anything. So don't worry, you cannot fail at what I'm asking. Just as you are, right now. No hypnosis, no speculation, no imagination. Just be empty, leave your thoughts, your ideas about who you are, personal identity, your belief systems, just for a moment. Let's see if it's possible for you to come to a place of total emptiness, empty of concepts. Okay? You don't have to strain. So that right now everything is left aside. Don't worry. At the end of my guidance, if you still want the old stuff back, I guarantee they'll still be there waiting for you. Okay? So if they're not felt to be so precious, just leave it aside for the moment, because for this, I just need you to be entirely empty. Just like this. Empty, empty, empty. I had to ask you to follow my pointings by leaving everything until there's nothing left to leave. Empty. Even no attachment to the feeling of I, even that. It can be whatever it is, but there's no clinging to any idea or any identity at all. Simple, just like this. You're still here, aren't you? In this space. You know that you exist. But there's no information. Don't cling to any information. Just you're here. You're still here. Empty of concepts and beliefs and projections and fantasies and dreams and memories. Leave them aside so that you know that you can do this. You're just empty now. And put your full attention on just what is here now. Don't create. Whatever is this, whatever this is, I call it just a feeling of isness. Only that is here. Like a kind of vast, formless intelligence. Now I want to ask you just a few simple questions that you can respond to by just saying yes or no. But just be honest. From here, this, whatever it is that I'm referring to as just isness, does it have any shape? Please respond. No shape. Or does it have a size? No. Is it an object? No, it is not an object. Does it have any colors? No. Is it male or female? No. Please just check in. You have the power in the place that you are now to answer these questions. Can it be sick? Can it be jealous? Or can it become depressed? Can it be afraid? Can it be controlled or owned by any person or organization or religion? No, it's not. Can it be for or against any particular person? Are you still with me? Yes, very good. Please just keep on with this. Does it have any sort of astrological sign or like, is it Piscean or nothing like that? Nothing like that. Okay. Does it have any moods, changing moods or any mood at all? No. Can it be manipulated? Sorry? No. Just stay in your looking. All is good. All is fine. Does it need belief? No, doesn't need belief. Can it become exhausted? No. Was it born? I need to hear from you. No? Okay. Here's a good one. No. If you went to sleep and you woke up after 7 or 8 hours sleep, can it go? Would it disappear? No. So it cannot fade? can it come to an end? Suppose you came from another country, like, Finland or United States of America, and you have to get on a plane to go home. Do you have to carry it with you? No. Thank you. Can I ask you this thing? Is there a place, any place, where it is not? No. Then can I ask you also, can it die? This is usually a tricky one. Just stay in, don't think, just be in where you are right now, empty as you are. Can it die? No, it cannot die. One more question. How far away from you is it right now? A few inches or a few meters? How far away from you is it? No distance? So just let me try and understand now. So you're saying, without conferring with one another, that it is not an object. It has no size or shape. It has no moods. Does it need to eat? No. It doesn't become hungry. It cannot be possessed by any particular group of people or to use against anyone. That it does not need belief to exist. Am I right in saying? Yes. And that, how old is it? Actually, you kind of answered because you said it was not born. You agreed. I said, was it born? You said, no, it's not born. Then I ask you, is there some place anywhere in the universe where it cannot be? You say, no, there isn't. Then I ask you, can it die? You say, it cannot die. I said, if you went to sleep and you wake up, do you have to be careful that you have to stay awake because you might lose it? You say, no, it will still be there. And I ask you again, where is it in relation to yourself? How far away from you is it? You say, no distance. Can anything exist outside of it? I try again. Is there anything, like the mind, for instance, can the mind exist independent or apart from it? No, it must be within it. And finally you say, I ask, how far, how near are you to it? And you say, no distance. So, and you sure you're not imagining these answers? You're not imagining the answers. So if all these things you say are true, and it is no distance, all your responses are about you. Again, if all you have said, uncoerced, in response to these simple questions is true, is unborn. He cannot die. It's inseparable from you. How can you know these things if they're not about you? For the first time, you're speaking the truth. But how can this be? How can this be? Because if these things that you have said now are true, where has the isness been all your life? Did you create this? Where has it been all this time until today? Was it not always here? Yes. Then who is having a strange life? Who exactly is struggling and having these bad relationships and throwing themselves off bridges? And who is doing all this thing? Is my question to you. Some capacity within the isness itself to believe itself into a limited mode of expression called a person. We, who are the isness itself, have somehow painted a self-portrait of ourselves called a person and are living the life of the person we think we are. And all the while, this has always been here. Can this ever sin? Can I ask you? Has it done anything evil? So this I am pointing to is the self of the Buddha. It is the Christ consciousness. It is the living and imperishable truth inside the heart of every living being. Now, you may try to change your mind now if you want. Or as I promised from the beginning, if you wish to take your old things back that I say leave outside, you are free to do that. We have always been free to be free and free to be bound. But this quintessential recognition we have missed until this moment in your existence. From before the beginning, you are this. Throughout all duration, this quintessential fundamental knowing has been here. And after all endings, this remains untouched. How can we reconcile that which you are in direct experience of right now with the life that you call yours and the life you think you've been living? It's for this reason throughout the world the great seers and saints have been declaring this life lived in the notion of a person is our dreaming. Your true life, your true self and true nature is revealing itself today, here. Inside your own heart. Is this too much for you to bear? So I just want to take a few moments just to sit with this. This is the God nature within every living being. This is what is referred to as pure consciousness. This is what is referred to as unborn awareness. The self, truth, life, holiness, the divine, the everlasting, the imperishable, the timeless, pure grace. Is it too much for you to bear? Now, something we call our mind, or the psychological aspect of ourself, which we call the mind, is going to rise up. Because its role, so to speak, in this play of life, of existence, went from the pure source itself. The source itself has manifested somehow. This play of consciousness, the dynamic consciousness which we call life, and the one living it, apparently, which we call the person. The person seems to be a ever-changing self-portrait in time and space. That which has been referred to as the imagined self, the dreamed self. Is it to be dismissed? No. Because in the heart of the dream self is the same truth you have discovered. How to reconcile a life that seems so different from what you are directly discovering and experiencing now? Well, don't try. The person cannot do it. But in the heart of the person is this truth. How can we move with this now? I will tell you. Simply let your attention marinate in this discovery. What it mean? It means just like you're feeling here, perhaps a very strong energy of the mind is coming in or whatever it is might be coming, yet the mind, even in its strongest pulsation, can it damage this? No. Can this itself be offended? No. Keep the attention here. Now, you may ask, but how can one live one's life in the presence of this knowing? Well, let's see. Because this recognition is not in conflict with your dynamic expression. In fact, recognizing this and honoring it, you will find that each day, day after day, each day is going to become your best day. There's going to be the end of depressions and gloominess. I ask you again, can it fade? Can it go away? This is more here than the idea you have of yourself. This here is your eternal existence. And I want to tell you that your life, let it unfold. Let the life unfold. Because it will unfold more graciously now. When your life is not trapped in the bubble of ego. Knowing this, that in any direction you go, you cannot come to the end of this. Something can begin to relax and to exhale all these tensions that we have collected in the name of personhood. Not in one night, maybe. But if you've really grasped this inside your heart. And why were you able to answer these questions that many scientists are pondering over, cannot find? And you, without any spiritual practice, can see from the place here. And I ask you again now, did you imagine these answers? No. Is this not incredible? From this tree will come a fruit, the fruit of your life that will keep getting sweeter and sweeter every day, but will never become oversweet. And who are you that I'm speaking to? This same eternal one in its play as time and change, in its manifestation as names and forms. Everything that you see, every thought, every feeling, every action, every memory is like a cloud passing in front of the eternal. The mind will come. It has to come. Actually, the mind is also arising from this. And it is here to test your understanding. Because like a reflex, the attention will keep going back to the person. But now you cannot unsee what you have seen. Now I don't have to ask you to believe, because you know. Will this experience pass? Can it pass? And if it passes, what will witness it passing? Therefore, I say to you, allow this. Don't offer it to your mind to make sense of it, because it cannot make sense of this. This is before even the birth of concepts. Is it a disappointing discovery for you? I give an example about something, I think most of you are old enough to remember when this new currency came, the new currency of pounds and new pence came in. Before it was another currency, or whatever your currency was. Maybe you were trading in liras before, and now it became euros. At a certain point, the government say, as of this date, we are going officially euros or pounds, whatever it is. Many of the young people made this transition very quickly. They could quickly go into euros and think in euro. Others were still in pound, shillings, and pence or something, or whatever it is. The same goods were there as were there all the time, but new prices were put on them. And for a while, when they say this is 8 euros, people say, how much is that in pounds? And we go back and try and assess the value. This is a natural thing. In the same way, the mind will keep coming up and try and make sense of what this is in some way. Go back to the old regime of thinking, which is that the I, me person and all of these. It will take some time for that to gradually integrate into the new understanding. And I want to encourage you to trust and that grace is on your side. It will help you. But if you cling to the whole identity, then you will still eventually cross over. But it would be like walking on a bridge that just keeps extending. Each time we are thinking in the old person and the old person's ways and so on, which is such a limitation on what you are discovering now, which is unlimited consciousness. If you give your mind this to your mind, the mind will keep on, yeah, but, and yeah, if and when and but and you, but, you know. You stay like it is here. How to stay? It's not a viable question. As I told you, whatever you love, whatever you appreciate, there your attention will go. As you begin to grow, because I tell you, my God, you don't know what you have discovered. You have no idea of the power of this discovery. Most of you are still in shock a little bit. It is okay. But gradually, as you keep just staying in this space of what I call isness, something is deepening even when you sleep. Life will become lighter, more spacious, because perhaps one of the great modern sicknesses is a sense of a lack of inner space. That space is now open. Can the isness be trapped inside the bubble of any scenario? Can the isness be trapped in the bubble of any scenario? No. You are never in the box. That sometimes conditioning and the mind seems to wrap itself around. It's just what we imagine. How are you feeling? You don't know? You're discovering what sometimes people have spent many, many years trying to discover. Pulling away from you all techniques into just clear understanding. The mind will say, but how can I make use of it? What's the point of it now? Will it help me to find a new job or get married? Or what is the value of this? Ridiculous things. What does the isness need? The body needs food. The mind needs to be exercised or something. These functions can still carry on, of course. Everything is just fine. But underlying all this is the unchanging. Does that feel claustrophobic? No. When we live in the state of personhood, we cling to things that we feel, oh, I need, but you cannot contain. When you know yourself as the isness, you're beyond need. Of course, food, fun, life has its play. I find nothing deeply credible at altering anything of the truth in you. But the most interesting time is coming for you to live and be the proof of that. Blessed is the one whose life becomes the evidence of the truth. You must become the proof that God is. I have not come to give you a job or a task. Enough struggle. But effort will be needed for a time to keep off the tendency to go back into the old regime of thinking. But by and by, you'll find your way. More and more, you'll come fully into your light, into your power, into true presence. A person is a very limited mode of consciousness. It is okay, but it is not enough. The person will experience also happiness and joy, but mostly they will be momentary, and they will be depending upon circumstances, situations, and so on. The isness does not depend. That's why I say it is. Not it will be, or it wants to be, or it used to be, but that it is. If you can conceive of 1,000,000 years ago, the isness is. If you can conceive of 1,000,000 years from now, the isness is. Perfection cannot become more perfect. It simply is. All our efforts is in the realm of the body, mind, and personal evolution. Means the growth of the person. And the true evolution of a person is to become more and more empty of concepts and more pure as consciousness. What you are experiencing is your own self. But unlike other experiences, it is not one thing experiencing another. It is that experiencing itself. So I called you today to invite you to this. All of Montessasha, the beings all over the world who have come into this, have elevated into consciousness, or are at stages of higher elevation in consciousness. If I have a wish, if you can call it that, for you, it will be this. It's the only place that you'll be lastingly happy and peaceful and open, unafraid, loving, compassionate, kind, wise. But I'm going to leave these words with you to see if they stay inside your heart or they leave. live with this understanding inside your heart. Say, I'm chosen for freedom. It's the only way that I know this term freedom can have any real meaning. This that you are in a direct recognition of. It's beyond believing or disbelieving, actually. The time is 8:15. In 1 hour and 15 minutes, something has happened inside you. The fruit of this we will see. Actually, what is arising inside is indescribable. There are no words for it in any language. Because this is here before concepts were born. This is here throughout the duration of the expression and experience of concepts. This is here at the end and the passing away of all concepts. And so, tonight, we're not going to be talking about questions and answers right now. I simply wanted you to have the darshan of your own source. Introduce your mind to your heart. And it is done. There are many ways in which we can look at life. Sometimes we can see it as a play of light and darkness. Or the transcendence of one concept over another. But right now, staying as you are here, in your effortless self, you're undefeatable. to let you know that you can live a life, to live above the clouds of the mind. In the place of pure consciousness. But for a while the mind will come, and it will come strong. Because that's all it ever was to stop the manifest consciousness from recognizing its source. To delay for as long as possible. Because why I say delay? Because every living being must at some point wake up. But to delay that awakening for as long as possible has been the role of the psychological self and mind. Now you are in the light of your own discovery. But the show is not over. I wish you well. And I am with you, actually. If it means anything to you. Thank you. We can close this evening with, would you like to play something, Sam? Very good.
Green leaves, strong breeze. Oh, this bird is coming home to stay. My love, I love you. Let me serenade your light again. And I'm already way down, down. I'm at your feet, receiving your mukti. Yeah, I'm already way down, down. I'm at your feet, no other place to be. This stillness, this peace, what else is left for me to achieve? No reason, no need. Everything I have you gave to me. And I'm already way down, down. I'm underground, there's nothing left to keep. Yeah, I'm already way down, down. I'm on the floor, I gave that life away. I'm way down, down. I'm at your feet. I'm way down, down. I'm at your feet. I'm way down, down. I'm at your feet. Oh, I'm way down, down. These waves, they break what is yours and what is mine to take. Oh, patience, how gracious, learning how to let you be again. And I'm already way down, down. I'm underground, there's nothing left to keep. Yeah, I'm already way down, down. I'm at your feet, no language here to speak. Oh, I'm way down, down. I'm at your feet. I'm way down, down. Beloved Guruji. Oh, I'm way down, down. I'm at your feet. I'm way down, down. Oh, the higher we go, the clearer it is for us to see. Oh, the love you bestow is nearer than the ground beneath our feet. I'm way down. Oh, I'm way down. I'm at your feet, and I'm way down, down. Beloved Guruji, I'm way down. I'm aware that I'm way down, down. I'm at your feet. Oh, I'm aware that I'm way down. I'm at your feet. Yeah, I'm aware that I'm way down, down. Guruji, I'm aware that I'm way at your feet. Green leaves, strong breeze. Oh, this bird is coming home.